Welcome to Dominica as we get set for kick. It is the second round of Concacaf World Cup qualifiers. Dominica and British Virgin Islands clashing in Group E here this afternoon in a jam-packed week of World Cup qualifiers in Concacaf. Great to have you with us today. Michael Wattreng and team with you for this one. 85 degrees, great conditions for the action today as these two groups meet for the third time in the last 3 years in a important matchup for these two teams to try to advance out of Group E that sits right now with Guatemala and Jamaica atop of the table, each 6 points, but Guatemala's goal differential a big difference maker right now. The Dominican Republic sits in third, trying to track down those top two teams, and then you have Dominica and the British Virgin Islands sitting right there. 0 points, -7 goal differential. Important matchup for these two teams to try to surge from out of the bottom of the table here this afternoon. Should be a fascinating matchup to watch these two play. It is a jam-packed day of action. 6 matches today in World Cup qualifiers, 6 more on Friday, 6 on Saturday, and it all culminates next Tuesday with a dozen matches in a very busy window here of FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Dominica and British Virgin Islands getting ready for kickoff here today at Windsor Park. And we'll have all the action for you as we lead up to kickoff. It'll be the starting 11s and the pregame festivities coming your way when we return as we drive towards kickoff here in World Cup qualifying out of Group E here in CONCACAF. Stick with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of the BVI, followed by that of Dominica for those of you that can.
Hey, come here, boys, come here, come on.
National anthem.
The national anthems wrap up for Dominica and the British Virgin Islands, and we are close to kickoff in this matchup. The penultimate match of the second round, and both sides need a lot of help, and they need a great result in these next couple days to be able to qualify for the third round of FIFA World Cup qualifiers here in Concacaf. This is at a Group E. Dominica and British Virgin Islands. The British Virgin Islands have never beaten Dominica in any matchup, either a friendly or any kind of qualification or tournament. And they will try to change that here today as we close in on kickoff. We take a look at the starting 11 for the home group. It is Dominica out of this one, and the all-time cap leader, Glenson Prince, 37 years of age, the oldest man on the pitch by 6 years, is the man that starts in goal for this group. They have one teenager on the list here tonight, and that man will be in the midfield in Jalen Janot-Vilt for this matchup between Dominica and British Virgin Islands. The captains meet with the officiating crew at the middle of the field. It is a center referee of Karen Hernandez that will guide the way of this matchup as you see the two captains meeting. That is Tasharn Gallimore and Glenson Prince meeting with Hernandez and her group. Three Mexicans in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines will have the fourth official for our game here this afternoon, the first of 6 in World Cup qualification on this Wednesday afternoon here today. As we take a look at the starting 11 for the British Virgin Islands, they have 4 teenagers in the starting 11, but they do have some experienced pieces, including the man that's second all-time in caps, Christian Javier, will start at right back, 27 caps for him in his time. They have a bunch of different good goal-scoring options. Tyler Forbes up top is the second all-time leading scorer in the history of the British Virgin Islands. He has scored 4 goals in his caps for the British Virgin Islands. And here we go as we get ready for kick. There's a look at Frankie Beckles, 19-year-old goalkeeper, gets the nod for our game here this afternoon. This facility used as both cricket grounds and the home of the national football team as well. It seats 12,000 in the Commonwealth of Dominica. And we are ready to go here in this game today. The ball is put in play by the British Virgin Islands, donning the yellow kits. It's the green and black for Dominica. And this window of CONCACAF qualifiers for the 2026 FIFA World Cup is underway. Good to have you with us for this game here today as we watch this matchup. Some things to keep in mind. Dominica and British Virgin Islands have played 5 times in roughly the last decade, and it has been 3 wins for Dominica in that stretch, including the most recent bout back in 2023. That was a road trip for Dominica and British Virgin Islands. They won that match 2-1. They scored the opener in the 52nd minute. They would add the game winner in the 67th after an equalizer sandwiched in there. Here's Dominica on possession. See how this matchup plays out in terms of the aggressiveness that these two sides play with. Thomas funnels it around. It's an early tackle, appeals for a penalty. And Karen Hernandez elects not to blow the whistle right at the outset of this match. A minute in already. Some dramatic moments as that was a really good pass from Brielle Thomas, third all-time in caps, throwing this ball in, and we'll get a better look at it right here in the slide tackle coming over from Christian Javier. And he times it well, the 29-year-old midfielder. Gets enough of the ball to sweep it away. Entering this game, Dominica, 28th ranked Concacaf side out of the 35 in Concacaf, ranked by FIFA, while British Virgin Islands number 33 of 35 in the rankings. Teams that have been steady in their rankings in the last 5 to 10 years. Acceleration here from LaVille. Had the opening goal the last time these two teams met, and it goes to Frankie Beckles. Dominica winless in its last 5. They've lost 4 of those 5, being outscored by 13 goals. Meanwhile, British Virgin Islands have lost 6 straight since last March. They had to go to penalty kicks to take out the U.S. Virgin Islands to be able to qualify for the second round of World Cup qualifiers. Little bump there from Jahari Lacey. And a quick restart. Everybody back, but that ball somehow splashes down past Yordanov, but he does come back to rescue. Around the horn it works. Jahari Lacey. Lacey dashes past one, but not past a second. Fitzjolly, the 26-year-old midfielder, stymies that charge. Does concede a throw here. See the look of the weather. Excellent, excellent day at the office for these two clubs, mostly represented by players that play professionally within the respective countries that they represent. There's a smattering of others that play in England, Norway, the United States, and others. We'll sprinkle in those facts as we go through it. This matchup. Direct ball over the top here, lands perfectly for Shawwell. Trickles it over to the side. Lacey darts. Lacey whips this ball with well too much pace. It does take a ricochet, however. And our first corner of the match sends British Virgin Islands to an early opportunity in this game. Glenson Prince will have his first test of the day. Tyler Forbes joins Joshua Birdie near the corner flag. And it looks like Birdie will be the man that has the honors of this corner. How many dynamics that you have to deal with these international windows, and who takes these plays are some of the most important. Forbes darts past one, cannot get past a second, so the short corner goes back out for a second opportunity. Let's see what they elect to do this time around. Dominica over there. It is Audel Lavelle. Birdie a deep side. Slingshots the ball into the 6-yard box this time. Prince knocks 2 over to get a piece. A couple nods, a flick down, and then Dominica sweep it back out to midfield. This ball brought in by Splat. 3 defenders converge. Splat loses possession, but British Virgin Islands do not give it away. Good early possession here from the British Virgin Islands. Population right around 30,000 for the British Virgin Islands. This ball swung all the way to the right-hand side. Flag staying down, latching on for a moment before sending it off the outside of the netting. Excellent run there by Travis Joseph. Top 10 all-time in both caps and goals for Dominica, but unable to slow it down enough. British Virgin Islands just off of the coast of Puerto Rico. Dominica down towards Venezuela, northeast of Venezuela. The giveaway here, a sticker out from that time around that ends up in the mitts of Frankie Beckles. This ball knocked down and an early shot attempt from Luca Shawwell. Ends up sliding out wide left, but all off of a goal kick. Shawwell was able to get behind everybody. End-to-end early action in this one. British Virgin Islands have not scored so far in their first 2 matches last year of these qualifiers. Direct ball over the top this time. Chipped out. Nick Anthony, the 27-year-old. Joseph Engels. Ball stays in play. Past one man, and that is an excellent single-handed effort to get past 2, draw the contact, the foul, and a free kick to get British Virgin Islands out of a tough area. Jahari Lacey, 18 years of age, does extremely well that time around to work out of that. He plays for One Love United in the British Virgin Islands. One of the several players on the roster affiliated with that group. Laville on the possession. Not a bad crowd here for the afternoon hours to watch these two teams collide. Dominica in the most recent Concacaf Nations League finished 3rd in League B and Group B. After being promoted the year prior, the British Virgin Islands continue to be in League C. They were in 3rd place with St. Kitts and Nevis and Cayman Islands coming out on top. This ball 1 hops. Beckles. Pretty good tempo to this match so far. 2 sides that would need all sorts of assistance to be able to qualify for the 3rd round. A year of qualification that could see as many as 8 CONCACAF teams meet the World Cup. That'll be hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico. 10 minutes into this one, we're scoreless between the British Virgin Islands and Dominica. 6th meeting in the last decade. No wins for the British Virgin Islands in that window. Breedis, the last man to touch it, going against Tyler Forbes. Throw in for BVI. Forbes waits for some reinforcements and decides to leave the ball down. 23-year-old who's already capped 26 times with the country, closing in on the all-time record. Into the box, this one swirls. Cleared only as far for a long-distance shot that doesn't even make it into the 18-yard box. A deflection. Lacey has it, lays it off, looks for the return feed, does not get it, but British Virgin Islands relentless in the attack. Splat. High arcing cross all the way over everybody. Takes a few bounces before Breedis watches it out, and rather than try to swing it away, elects to take the throw. Well, this is the early game. We have a couple games at 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's Barbados and Aruba in Group C, Montserrat and Belize in Group D, and then 3 games in the 7 p.m. Eastern time window on this first day of action. Scoreless so far between Dominica and the British Virgin Islands. Dominica have scored twice in their first 2 matches. British Virgin Islands have not scored. They've been outscored 7-0 so far. But they did have the best chance of the game in the 7th minute. Chilwell off of a goal kick, finding space along the right side of the 18. Down the pitch, this ball splashes. With the pressure, that ball rolls away. And Javier takes no chances that time around. The senior statesman on the pitch, 29 years of age for British Virgin Islands. Ross comes in. It's a delightful first touch. It hits the left post. Troy Jules nearly had the opener. Got past Beckles, but the post saves the British Virgin Islands. This is such a delightful touch from Jules. Gets the turn on Wiltshire. And then his shot just hits the wrong side of the bar if you're Dominica, the right side if you're British Virgin Islands. Warning shot for Dominica, looking to gain the edge. Rael Thomas launches this ball nearly all the way into the 6. Now he'll have a different angle to take a long toss. Rael Thomas, cap number 57 tonight. Again, whips this ball in with everything as that ball takes a couple knocks. It gets funneled over to Birdie. Birdie ships it up the park. Rolls to the middle of the field. And here comes the British Virgin Islands. This is where they've been good in transition so far. Forbes the target. Crosses this ball all the way around. Transitional moments for the British Virgin Islands have been delightful so far. Splat runs into resistance this time. Backpedals. Swings it across. Prince gets hit really hard there. Does a great job of holding on to the ball. But the contact comes from Forbes. And maybe the man that got the worst of all that is 21-year-old Marcus Breedis. Did well defending to keep in front. Prince showcases the experience. 80th cap tonight, the all-time leader in Dominica history. And Forbes comes in right on the neck of Glenson Prince. Prince plays for Frenzy out of the UPSL in the United States. Everybody good to go. And now Prince gets ready to put the ball back in play. British Virgin Islands played its first ever match in 1985. They're one of the newcomers in terms of historical background in CONCACAF. Meanwhile, Dominica's first ever match came all the way back in 1932. They beat Martinique on that day, 1-0. 2 groups, wanting wins. A foul is whistled. Everybody arguing that there should have been a foul on the other side. And ultimately, Eustace Marshall will not win his rebuttal. It will be Splat that draws the contact. And a free kick in a really dynamic spot here for the British Virgin Islands. These are always the most valuable and most difficult moments in short international pockets. How do you organize yourself defensively? Who takes the ball? Where's the communication from and the relationships? The attacking side. Birdie and Forbes there again. And it is Birdie hooking this ball in. It takes a bounce. Just missed the foot of one. And it gets cleared away, but another dynamic ball in from the British Virgin Islands. Both sides teetering for a moment defensively in the first 17 minutes, but they've dodged the bullet so far. You see this ball in from Birdie. Nearly found the head of Shawwell. And it hit down right near Splat. And neither of the two able to get enough of it to put it on target. Well, right back into the attack goes the British Virgin Islands, but they lose possession. But a foul is given. See it again. Just enough from Coben Paul to commit the foul. Well, this facility seats 20,000. You could nearly fit the entire city of Rosso in this building. Nearly 15,000 inhabit the city that we're in. All over everybody and out. Windsor Park, built about 18 years ago. Cricket, the biggest draw of this facility. Ball goes out of play. Forced error at Nick Anthony, unable to slow it down. Birdie been all over the field so far, throws that ball in, can't link up, comes back to take it away, but is called for a foul. And again, there from Birdie, in the left foot. Jules. Dominica take for a moment and then regain after a nod. 20th minute, scoreless so far, but each side inches away from getting the opener. Shawwell in the 7th, Jules hit the post in the 13th for Dominica. Ball flicked forward right along the chalk, and it's a good work there by Anthony to bang it off of Birdie. Anthony, 27 years of age, throws it down. Jolly starts, stops, taps. Joseph off of one, comes back to Jolly, and he muscles it over everything. I think that was almost incidental there from Jolly, that he was even in the right place off of the redirect, and then decided why not give it a go and hit that ball with a lot of power over everything. Jolly unattached currently from a club. That's another aspect of these matches for some players that are unattached, representing the smaller countries in Concacaf. Could be opportunities to showcase their skill and earn a professional contract again. Flags up for offside this time around. Coming back to play it was Rael Thomas. Closing in on the Gold Cup. This World Cup qualification, and it is a very busy window over the next month and a half. CONCACAF, who's looking to make their push. Getting ready for the World Cup in 2026. A couple heads, a couple pokes, a tap. Finally out wide, Lacey gets a piece, doesn't redirect it properly. Once again, bodies collide and hit the deck, and Jolly this time tangles up, committing the foul. Birdie, he's had plenty of practice so far. Another free kick. This is centrally located, and instead it will be Gallimore, the captain, throwing it to the back post. Dominica bounce this ball to midfield. Brought down very well by Paul. Throws it out wide. A tackle, a foul, and Christian Javier is going to be our first man in the book. The 29-year-old picks up a 23rd minute yellow card. This time it was a burst from Dominica. After that had been what British Virgin Islands had done through the first half of the opening 45. The first yellow card to Christian Javier. Which side will get the opening goal in this World Cup qualifier? A lot of the matches recently have been tight, with the exception of a 2016 game. 7-0 on that day for Dominica. Otherwise, every game has either been a draw or one goal differential between these two countries. Seesaw affair going so far. Jolly taps it. Lacey comes back to take it. Shawwell splits defenders with that rolling ball. Just enough of a body there from Breedis to keep Forbes away. Gets some help, and Forbes is called for the foul. Jolly settles and restarts. Very strong start in the attack for these two groups. Shots each side so far. Dominica's coach, Elliot Sabine. British Virgin Islands coach, David Perez, both watching over this here today. Looking to hit the right buttons. Sideline it goes, off of one skip. Joseph dodges one defender. Numbers in the 18 now. Jules was the target, never reaches him. Thomas finds just enough of a blockade there to get it back. Jolly under stress. Back wide. Into the box this ball goes. And it's cleared away by Wiltshire. Eccles was calling for it. It never ended up with him, however. Corner kick, first time for Dominica. Troy Jules is over there, ready to take. Jules boomerangs. First man heads it high and over everybody. See what they were trying to do there. Have it hit the first man, skim across to a dangerous location with that high tempo and pace. We're going to get a hydration break here as we're right at the midway point of the first half. British Virgin Islands. They will have a home match June 7th. But that will be a tough clash. 3 p.m. against Jamaica. That match comes up in a few days on Saturday. Jamaica right now sitting tied atop the group with 6 points, but the goal differential right now of Guatemala almost insurmountable. Dominica, conversely, will head to the Dominican Republic. That match will be next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Dominican right now sitting in 3rd place out of Group E. The Dominican Republic will need some help to be able to qualify for the 3rd round. Here's how things will work out in this World Cup qualifying window. 30 teams, each playing 4 matches, 2 home and 2 away. The group winners and runners-up will advance to the 3rd and final round. The final round will consist of 12 teams played September through October. 3 groups, 4 teams apiece. The group winners will join the US, Canada, and Mexico for the World Cup in 2026, while the 2 best runners-up will play in the FIFA playoff tournament, trying to make it the full complement of 8 possible teams from Concacaf to advance to the World Cup for the first time in Concacaf history. Played in the region as well. So we restart. Here's this shot attempt. It sizzles over everything. But yet again, British Virgin Islands showing the ability off of restarts. Lucas Shawwell, 22nd cap today, looking for his 4th goal. Always tough to try to get the bend that you want, and you can see that it's a knuckler in the end. No spin to it. It's great to have you with us. Michael Watring and our team with you here in Dominica. This World Cup qualifier. This ball's over the top, and it's a high arcing chip that finds the net. Dominica has the opener. Odell Lavelle, his 10th goal in Dominica history, makes it 1-0 for the home side.
Goal in the 29th minute.
Well, it's a great direct pass this time, all the way from the back. Look at the bounce that it gets as well. Very friendly, off the chest of Laville, and he scored the last time these teams played. And this time, it is his 10th goal. The 3rd man to ever reach double digits in Dominica history. Has goal number 10. Odell Laville, the 22-year-old forward. He's for Dublanc in Dominica. He's made it 1-0. And it was such a good ball from the back as well. Finding that target of Laville, and British Virgin Islands have not led, and it has been a slog for this group. Winless in their last 11. They haven't won a match since September of 2023 against the Turks and Caicos. As they trail now, Marshall has to fend that ball aside, the man that had the assist. Corner kicks have been prevalent for the British Virgin Islands as they look to respond here in the final quarter hour of the first half. Birdie lines it up on the chalk. 30 cents. Crushes this ball in. Prince with both paws. To the middle of the field, however. Mars gets a bit of a piece, but it's cleared. Jules knocks it down, but cannot control. Back in toward the mixer. Over a couple men. Sure gets over there. Did get a piece, however, and concedes a corner. Well, of all these corner kicks that the British Virgin Islands have had, this will be the 5th one. They have not quite been able to really test Glenson Prince so far in his 80th cap. 20 plus more than anybody else in the history of the country for the goalkeeper. This cross comes in near post. First ball sent away. LaVille has this ball muscled off of him. Thomas blocks it. Flag is up for offside. And now the whistle comes. Injured man as well. Christian Javier, who has the yellow card, lays on his backside. See it again. Sean Gallimore was the man that went climbing the ladder for that ball. Have number 23 today for the country's captain. Forbes. For the redirect, doesn't find the right man for the British Virgin Islands. Rightful ball through defenders, but not well handled initially. LaVille again charges through the middle. Instead, it'll be a shove in the back. There's no foul. That's the disdain of the fans here. Instead, it's Thomas slaloming away from defenders, guiding it forward. Jules tries to win the race. He does so. Jules hooks it around. Individual effort from Joy Jules. His 5th goal for Dominica makes it 2-0. 2 goals in 5 minutes. Has the home country in front by a pair. Oh, it's such a good ball here from Thomas, but it's the effort of Jules getting past the defender, maintaining his balance, and then poised despite Beckles coming out. Yordanov cannot win the 1v1 battle. Just as it looked like the British Virgin Islands were doing their task in this one. They've given up now 2 in 5 minutes and find themselves on the wrong side of the scoreboard. By a pair now. Jules asking for some assistance as well. Minutes to go before halftime. This to be a bit of a deflating moment for the British Virgin Islands. All those set piece chances that you had, the opportunities you were able to create in transition. Instead, it is your side that is unable to score the goal and now finds themselves down by a pair. Thomas works out of the pack with it. Guides it along. Yordanov is there to send it away. Either of these two countries have ever qualified for a Gold Cup or a World Cup. British Virgin Islands ranked 207th in the FIFA rankings. Dominica 184th, and both teams have been in that range the entirety of this decade. Back spinning ball. Once again, it splashes down. Beckles misreads it. LaVille nearly had himself a second. And now some gaps opening up in this back line for the British Virgin Islands, and the passing from these defenders starting to pose all sorts of issues for the British Virgin Islands in this game. Corner kick in the end. Troy Jules is over there. Back on the field after the injury. Jules arcs. First man skims it across, but doesn't quite have the angle to keep it on target. For the first 25 minutes, it felt like this was going to be a back and forth affair. Shots right now sit at 5-4 in favor of Dominica, but the corner kicks have been important. British Virgin Islands have had 5 of those. They've had a couple set pieces as well around the 18. But so far, haven't been able to put a shot on target in this game. And because of that, Dominica have capitalized on their opportunities to be able to score in this contest. LaVille in the 29th and Jules in the 35th. Here's the attack now. A good slide tackle from Jolly. Mitch Jolly has been all over the park tonight, both in the attack and defensively. Looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. Trying to get those back up and rolling here in this matchup. 40th minute, Dominica 2, British Virgin Islands 0. Closing in on halftime out of Group E of this FIFA World Cup Concacaf Qualifier. Apologize for the hiccups here. Back and rolling now. Didn't miss anything. Couple goals. LaVille in the 29th. Jules in the 35th for Dominica, out in front of the British Virgin Islands. Closing in on halftime here. Michael Watring and our crew with you. Good to have you with us for the first of 6 matches on this Wednesday in Concacaf World Cup qualifying. Shawwell hits this ball well along the sideline, but it's just out of the reach that time around. British Virgin Islands have showcased their ability to get forward, showcased options in the attack. Only thing, though, they haven't quite been able to get on that same page once they enter the penalty area. They'll be able to get one back before halftime. On the road, a place that has been unfriendly to them over the years. Promising here for a moment, and that pass just didn't have enough on it from Splat. Second go at it to recycle Gallimore. Jordanov. Wiltshire. Continues his run, has space, will not get it back, however. And because of that, Dominica takes over possession. Jolly. Back around it goes. Lenson Prince, 37 years of age. He's been an established star for Dominica ever since he began his playing career nearly 2 decades ago. Ball. Well timed. Not enough on that to lead to an attack for Breedis. Jules tries to chop that ball away, cannot do so. Here is Joel Mars. Through the middle this ball goes, it's taken away, and now off of his line was Beckles. Like he probably would have recovered in time, but that ball nevertheless goes out of play. 90 seconds or so, plus any stoppage time. We did have a cooling break right around the 26th minute mark. Dominica responded with 2 goals in short order after that. Shawwell. Gallimore to a wide space. Give it away, though. One of the 2 goal scorers, Laville, lines this ball up. Cranks it across the park. Dodging, darting, but not winning the 1v1 against Christian Javier. A lot of space on that left side, as there has been all day. It's an excellent ball here, Breedis. Likes to play back. Marshall. It's an assist in this one. 2 minutes of stoppage time in the first half. Marshall tries to curl that ball around, but had well too much on it. Trying to link up with Travis Joseph. This has been the tale for British Virgin Islands in a recent run of play. They've been shut out 5 times in their last 6. They've only scored 1 goal in their last 6 matches coming into this game. They've given up multiples in 4 of the 6. And now 2 more here today, so they've been outscored 16-1 in their last 7 matches. And it's a team that, when you watch, you feel like a goal is brewing. They just haven't been able to find that final ingredient to get it all right. This ball in again. Knocked down by Forbes. And Rolls out of the 18, however. With seconds to go in the first half, LaVille switches the field. And Dominica certainly should be more than content with being able to walk out of this with a 2-0 lead at the break. And David Perez will have choices to make at halftime for the British Virgin Islands. As I mentioned, their next game in just 3 days is against Jamaica, and that is not going to be an easy one. As the halftime whistle blows, we've played 45 minutes here in Dominica, in the home country. Scores twice, LaVille in the 29th, Jules in the 35th, and it is a 2-0 advantage for Dominica here in Concacaf World Cup qualifying. Step out for a break. Halftime highlights come your way when we return to Dominica here at the break.
Selector, lead to select the selection.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to witness the second half of this FIFA World Cup qualifiers right here at the Windsor Sports Stadium. 45 minutes of play. So,
kicking off the
stay tuned.
early June window of the road to 2026 FIFA World Cup Concacaf Qualifiers. It is Dominica and British Virgin Islands, and through 45 minutes, Dominica has the edge 2-0 at the break. Michael Watring and our team with you for this matchup here today, the first of 6 games. Next on the slate will be Group C play, Aruba 4th, Barbados 5th at 5 p.m. Group D at 5 p.m. as well. 4th place, Montserrat hosts 5th place, Belize at 7 p.m. It'll be 3rd place, Cayman Islands traveling to 5th place, Bermuda in Group A. Grenada in 4th in Group B plays the 5th place side, Bahamas as well. And then the final match of the day, 4th place, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Anguilla from 5th place out of Group F as well. 6 matches today, 6 on Friday, 6 Saturday, and a dozen next Tuesday during this. And we will get down to the final 12 for the 3 spots in the 2026 World Cup that will be given out during this window. Those will be finalized September through October of this year at the end, and then there will be a couple play-in teams as well that will have a chance in the FIFA playoff tournament for the 2026 World Cup to be hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And here today, Dominica just looking to get some points here in Group E. Guatemala, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic all have the inside track to advancing. The goal differentials of these two teams are going to be almost impossible to overcome. It would take one heck of a performance to overcome their current -7 goal differentials that these two clubs have. And the Dominican Republic sitting in 3rd place. They have a +3 goal differential with 3 points as well. So they have an inside track to trying to leapfrog either Guatemala or Jamaica out of Group E. British Virgin Islands will cap its week on Saturday, 3 p.m. against Jamaica. That'll be a tough one, but a good test for the British Virgin Islands, while Dominica will be back in action in the Dominican Republic on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for that game. And as we close in on the start of the second half of play here in Dominica, 2-0 is the advantage. Audel Laville in the 29th minute has his 10th goal for the country. 3rd man to join the double-digit club in Dominica history. Julian Wade has 20. He's the all-time leader. Carlson Benjamin has 14. Those are the 2 men that he's trying to track down right now. And then Troy Jules added a goal, his 5th goal for the club or for the country. That is 8th all-time in Dominica history. That came in the 35th minute. So Dominica leading 2-0 at halftime as we get ready for the second half of play. These two sides will be in action here in just a moment. Stick with us. 2-0 Dominica out in front of the British Virgin Islands. So the second half gets underway here. It is Dominica in the green and black kits in this matchup. British Virgin Islands in the yellow kits. And the second half kick starts with Dominica leading 2-0. 45 more minutes to go to try to end a 5-match drought for Dominica in terms of victories. To the top, this ball ends up right at the feet of Splat, but he's unable to find the right pass. Jordanov comes over to pick it up. Chance to reset and resettle. Windsor. This ball through the middle, knocked down. Circling the corner is Forbes, Jake Forbes, one of the subs at halftime. Here's another one of them. Carson Price in there as well. Two halftime changes for the British Virgin Islands with Price and Forbes both coming in. And here's another foul and another good location to try to make something happen for the British Virgin Islands. See if they're able to do anything off of this set piece. And their fair share of them so far. Haven't quite been able to find that finishing touch, however. Joshua Birdie lines things up. Birdie whips this ball across on that back post. It doesn't hit the target. Birdie gets it back, tries to find space. Birdie throttles. It hits a man before rolling out for another throw. Donov and Tyler Forbes were the two men that came out for the British Virgin Islands at the break. Yellow flag is up for offside. Dominica made a change as well at halftime. Kean Thomas is on the field, and he replaces Coben Paul.
Ahorita no, en el medio tiempo.
See if these changes do anything for either of the two sides in the final 45 minutes of play. Air by Bill. Out to get it is Prince, and despite a bobble, he catches it in time. Another giveaway, however. Shawwell tries to evade a man, cannot do so. It's Jolly. Lines it to the sideline. Here's Jules, one of the two goal scorers in the game. Jules pivots away from trouble, gets space. Jules looks for options, taps it up top. Paul on his first touch, the 19-year-old bobbles. Marshall back towards the top of the penalty area. Out for Thomas. On the quick turn, Lavelle. Now a man down on this sideline, so Karen Hernandez blows the whistle to take a look at Christian Javier. Trying to slow down that initial run. Like he slowed up after Jules was able to get the corner against him. in. You can see right there that Javier, experienced man on the field, cap number 28. Javier off the field for the moment as he tries to recover. This ball thrown across, knocked out. Couple pings, picked back up by Joseph. Jolly. Jules charges. Breedis taken down. This is a foul. Is it a booking? It looks like it will be as well. That's going to go on Jake Forbes. He will join Javier in the books. His first moment around the ball in this game. A halftime substitute, 21-year-old, picks up a yellow. Not exactly a corner for Dominica. Play it. Similarly, Troy Jules prepares. Jules ropes this ball at the target. And Frankie Beckles had it read the entire way. Tough one as a keeper. You're expecting a pass. Instead, Jules decided to give it a go on frame. Windsor, the score line at 2-0. LaVille in the 29th, Jules in the 35th. Michael Watring and our team with you, enjoying the match here today in Dominica. Windsor Park Sports Stadium, the home of cricket grounds. Quick turn. Thomas. LaVille pokes it right back. Wiltshire. LaVille gets a piece. LaVille threads this up top. Knocked down. This ball ripped, but fended off by Beckles. A delightful run of spell right there. A couple of changes coming here. Hugo Costa Lizario coming in. Replacing Mars. Javier also done. And Kevon Caesar coming in. Changes happening here in the 57th minute, so two more changes. Changes made in this one. Caesar is 31. He's the oldest man to play up until we see the first look here of Lazario, who is 32. So two of the older men on the team come in, and they replace Javier, who had been playing on a yellow, had also been hurt as well. Mars comes out, the 18-year-old. Let's see if the British Virgin Islands can get back in this game. Trailing by a pair. Forbes to the top. Inspirational ball rolls out. look at this dodging, darting run by LaVille. And then this shot attempt right here. Ian Thomas did it well. Beckles makes his second big save of this second half. Price able to hold off Jolly. And Jolly's pass had way too much on it, looking for Jules. Jolly 26 has been the most active man on the pitch for Dominica. Splat tries to give it back, cannot do so, and now it rolls out. Jules. Jules will give Prince a chance to reorganize his group in front of him. Closing in on the 1 hour mark of this match. Dominica 2, British Virgin Islands 0. British Virgin Islands have really scuffled of late. A group that has been outscored 16-1 in their last 7 matches. Joseph had it for a moment, gives it away. Gallimore. Forbes. Eludes Breedis and Jolly. Lacey extends Birdie, but out of his reach is Anthony is over. Close the gap and take the throw. Just hunts it down. The ball just didn't have enough pace on it. Put Breedis in a bad position. He commits the foul. Doesn't look like there will be a card here. Somebody for Dominica has been put in the book so far. Despite that late foul on what looked like a promising moment perhaps for the British Virgin Islands, with Jake Forbes, who has a yellow card as well, eyeing that opportunity. And with a half hour to go, will there be any type of shift in the plot of this one? And will Joshua Birdie be able to be the man that starts things off? Birdie walks it back off. Eyes the target. And now is ready. Birdie. Unable to beat the first man with a pass. Beckles. Gets this ball up. Good initial touch. Windsor able to maintain control of the ball. Thomas might have been offside. Now he comes over to try to get there, and the flag now does go up for offside. He thought perhaps maybe he had been able to get back onside, but not how that works. Work by the officiating crew today, being on top of these moments. Shawwell has had good opportunities in this, and now he goes to the ground and commits the foul, and he will definitely see a yellow card here. Third man to pick up a yellow in this one, the second one on the field still. Joining Forbes with yellow cards now the rest of the way. His highest ever ranking came nearly 15 years ago. We're 128th in the world. But ever since 2019, they have been between 180 and 184. A country that became a member of FIFA in 1995. It's a quick restart. Thomas slingshots it around. Gets the second ball as well. And then miss hit by Jolly. Beckles picks it up. Quick restart. It rolls across the field. Back for Prince. Meanwhile, for the British Virgin Islands, you have to go back 25 years the last time they had their highest ranking. That was 160 back in 2000. And in the last decade, they have split spaces in roughly 5 spots between 204 and 208. LaVille turns, threads the needle wide. Anthony is the last man to touch, out for a goal kick. Virgin Islands suffered the worst loss in their time to Dominica. A 10-0 differential. Sure can't slow it down. Forbes lofts. Good first touch there by Splat. Prince loops it out to midfield. The British Virgin Islands were threatening in the opening 25 minutes or so. It has been anything but. In the last 40, Dominica have made the in-game adjustments. They've been the stronger side with this 2-0 advantage. 5 minutes to go. Dominica 2, British Virgin Islands 0. LaVille steps on the ball, bangs it off of a foot. It is taken away, however, but the pass not in the right place. Windsor was standing right on top of that little arc. Hopeful of it, but Lazario be a little bit more direct towards the pipes than lay it off to an open teammate. British Virgin Islands be able to get one on the board here. Have not scored in World Cup qualifying so far. Shut out in both matches last year. Scored 7-0. Windsor, he slips. This ball gets lost in the sky. Marshall pops it out. Time. Windsor with a direct ball. It gets knocked down. Price goes wide. Forbes knocked in. Lazario has his shot blocked. Young 19-year-old. Oh, LaVille. A timely intervention. Ball poked forward and then cleared. No question, the best run of play moment from top to bottom that we've seen so far. The British Virgin Islands, can they replicate it and get another good opportunity? Windsor again, right through the middle. Marshall commits the foul. See our center referee indicating that there was a little tug on the side of the hip. And it sets up British Virgin Islands in a good position here. There's Marshall, you see it right there on the right side of the body of Splat. How does this duo feel about the distance now? Joshua Birdie. See 4 men in his way. Just outside of the 18th. So this is roughly a 30-yard strike coming here from Birdie if he flies it in. Instead, it'll be the right foot that never has a chance. Didn't fall down towards the top of the bar until it was well out from Luca Shawwell. 22nd cap today for the British Virgin Islands. Top 10 all time. Dominica make a change. They bring on Dante Warrington to replace Travis Joseph.
Number 17 substitution for Dominica in the 65th minutes. In the 69th minute, better set.
Knocked out. Pushed across. In 20 years of age, so while we've seen the British Virgin Islands use more experienced players off the bench, they're older players. It's been the younger side for Dominica that have been the reinforcements brought in. A foul whistled against Warrington on his first opportunity of the day. And plays with Harlem United. With 20 more minutes to go. British Virgin Islands still sitting right around the half-dozen shot attempt mark. They've had just 2 in the second half. And we come to a cooling break here in this one with Dominica leading it 2-0. Both goals came in a 6-minute span. 29th minute, a long ball from Eustace Marshall over the top, one hop off the chest on El Laville. Arcs it over the top of the keeper and into the right side of the cage. 1-0 Dominica. 6 minutes later, it was another excellent pass across, and then Jules' individual effort right along the touchline to get a piece. Swing it around, Beckles, and finish to make it 2-0, and that is where we have sat ever since in this game from the 35th minute goal right there. Shots sit at 10-7, so there have been 3 shots credited to the British Virgin Islands here in the second half. Problem, however, is they have 0 shots on target here in this game. 7 total shots, none have been on frame. And with less than 20 minutes to play here in this contest, will British Virgin Islands be able to get on the board in this game? 2 teams that are towards the bottom of the Concacaf rankings. British Virgin Islands 3rd from the bottom in the FIFA rankings for Concacaf sides. Dominica 28th out of 35. The majority of the games today are teams that are towards the bottom of their respective groups. Every group playing today, A through F. All day long, and half hour away from kick-starting 2 more matches. Barbados hosting Aruba in Group C, and Montserrat playing host to Belize out of Group D. Those kickoffs coming right around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Savio Anselm comes in and replaces Jahari Lacey. Check that, that's William Green. That is the man that comes in to replace Lacey. British Virgin Islands. Gully plays it wide. Laville high in the air, knocked down.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, substitution for BVI, number 9 out and 11 in. in the 72nd minute of play.
Couple touches here in the middle of the park. Goals wide, Warrington. Warrington debates. Goes touchline. This is the ball across. Right into the waiting clamps of Beckles. That's a good ball and a good run. Anthony touches it forward. Thomas. Kean Thomas gets it from Brielle. Bross all the way around, and that ball hits the left post, and it flies in. Beckles caught off of his line, and what a ball that is. Delightful from LaVille. Splashes it in, 3-0. Dominica the lead and the celebration here in the second half. Look at this range, look at the ball. Beckles just caught in no man's land. Such pace, such dipping speed. It hits the left bar and fires it. It's a mesmerizing goal from Odell LaVille. And now 3 shy of second place all time in Dominica history for goals. Carlson Benjamin with 14, retired 7 years ago. And LaVille continues his charge up the charts. Today is cap 29. He has a brace. And a foul off of the restart. LaVille with his first career brace for country in this one. And scored his first 9 goals in 9 different matches. This ball played into the 18. Once again, defensively, there's enough there to get the ball away. A shot that will never really challenge Glenson Prince as he smothers. Excuse me, misread. Odell LaVille, his 3rd brace for his country. Most recently did it in a friendly against St. Vincent and the Grenadines in May of 2024. Also had one in a friendly against St. Vincent and the Grenadines in May of 2022. So this is the first time that he's had it in a non-friendly for LaVille. And now the British Virgin Islands trail by 3 with less than a quarter hour left. Forbes right through the middle. That ball is excellently brought in. Splat hits it off the backside of one. Rolls back out, trying to turn to Shawwell, and it's cleared away. Jules whiffs on it, as does Thomas. Game opens up now. Forbes off the backside of Breedis. Warrington knocked down by Price, the halftime sub. Gathers. Sidewinds for Forbes. Across it goes from William Green. Ends up finding one man. It trickles in. There it is on the middle of the field. And Splat unable to get the angle right. Could have put the British Virgin Islands on the board, but just could not quite get the pace down as that ball took a high hop at the last second. It's a great run, it really is. And maybe just enough from Breedis to force the errant shot. No doubt the best chance of the day from the British Virgin Islands. Benson Prince is down after the late charge defensively there by Marcus Breedis. The physio saying that they're both good. .11 minutes remaining, and Dominica out in front, 3-0. Story of the day for British Virgin Islands. So many times in good locations, so many times showcasing creativity. Ultimately, in the end, when it comes to getting the deal closed, just have not had that success. Splat the latest in that mix. With 10 minutes to go, Dominica 3, British Virgin Islands 0. In this Concacaf qualifier on the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Dominica eyeing a fourth now as Jules takes the back heel. Jules charges, slid away from trouble. Corner kick, however. Well, it's good defensive work there by Jerry Wiltshire as Jules was beginning his charge. Sure, a timely defensive play. An out-swinging corner from Dominica. Whistling across, headed off of a man. And back out for another corner. Riel Thomas again winning the race to the sky. Third all-time in caps. Today is his 57th appearance for Dominica. He's sitting on 8 goals as he closes in on being the 4th man to join the double-digit goal club. Back into the mixer this ball goes. It bangs off of the turf once, skips past Warrington. Up and over the top, Marshall unable to control as it rolls out for a goal kick. The numbers in this match, 11 shots to 10 in favor of Dominica, but 5-1 shots on target in this game. That's been the key spot in this one. The ability to put attempts on target. Dominica having scored in 3 of their 5 chances that have found its way between the pipes. A whistle and a foul. And more subs appear to be ready. Malachi Bonney replaces Riel Thomas. And Marshall is the other man coming out as Mosiah Bonney come in as well. The 2 Bonnies are in. Third minute changes. .18-year-olds. Malachi. The ball gets knocked away. Josiah is 25, Malachi is 18. The two men that come in. Long throw. Bounces at the feet of one. Taken right back, however. Kean Thomas all the way across. LaVille. LaVille cranks that high and over everybody. He had his sights set on a hat trick. That ball fell pretty nicely for him, but you can see at the last second that ball takes a skip up. It hits him more towards the ankle than it does the top of the foot. Dominica eyeing perhaps a fourth. Over the top this ball goes. Splat tries to get there. It's a diving clearance, with the flag up for offside. Dominica with a good performance today. Looking to close this one out with a clean sheet in hand as well. One more change here for Dominica. Lion Edwards replaces Fitzjolly, who put in a really good shift tonight. Long toss from Caesar, rolls out. Three of the 5 changes in the second half for Dominica have been teens. And now they try to defend a 3-goal edge. Corner all the way across, and there was space there for Wiltshire, but it hit a teammate before rolling out. See it again, Birdie. Good connection on it. Wiltshire at the last second, finding some space. Hopeful in his eyes of getting to that ball. Most goals that Dominica have scored in a match since September 12th of 2023. That was in Concacaf Nations League play, a 3-0 win at the Turks and Caicos. Also had 3 in a friendly in 2022. 3-1 win over St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Last time they scored 4 was back in March of 2019 in Nations League qualifiers. A home win against the Bahamas, 4-0. Post-game celebration is kick-started a few minutes early here with Dominica out in front 3-0. Jules. Is there a 4th for Dominica? The British Virgin Islands be able to break out the clean sheet. Been shut out in 5 of their last 6 during a 6-game losing skid. Dominica have scored just 4 goals in their last 5, a winless run during that stretch. They score 3 here today. And eyeing maybe one more before the end of the show. Anthony tracks it down. Warrington turns. Warrington bends it across. Jules gets the first poke at it. Knocks it back. Breedis hits it off the outside of the post, but he had taken that ball out of play beforehand. Biggest win in Dominica history was 10-0 against this British Virgin Islands team in October of 2010 in a Caribbean qualifier. Carlson Benjamin had 5 of the 14 goals that he scored for his country in that match. And we're here in the 90th minute. Will there be any more stoppage time in this one, or will 3 be enough for these two sides today? Excellent hustle brought in Kean Thomas. Thomas tries to cut it back, unable to do so as Gallimore, the captain, rescues the attack. Given away, however. Edwards. Of the changes in this second half, it's been a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 25-year-old, and a 19-year-old. So the future for Dominica being showcased on the field here in half number 2. Looking to see through the full 90. We've hit that mark. Eyeing stoppage time. Three minutes of added time in this one. Long throw sent in, takes a couple skips, and Prince casually catches despite all the traffic and commotion in front of him. Two men collide for Dominica. Price, the benefactor, gets the pass back from Green, but ultimately defended by Breedis. Goes out for a corner. Well, we'll get a brief stoppage here. One of the two that were involved in that collision, Kean Thomas, will need an extra second here. You see it again, Price eludes, but then that hefty collision coming over was Malachi Boney. It's a throw into the mixer. Prince punches it out. Birdie hits it off of the official. Birdie frustrated. A promising moment for British Virgin Islands that will be upended. It's going to be a drop ball to reset things. Everybody tries to get set now. Not often you see a drop ball in this area. And now we get a little bit of extracurriculars. Little bit of pushing and shoving. Calmer heads prevailing. The captain's getting in there to try to ease the tension. And Frankie Beckles joins the fray as well, the 19-year-old keeper. Where the British Virgin Islands tries to cool everybody off. Birdie gets it back, pounds it over the top. Lazario heads, and one save for Prince before the day is done. Prince down the park. Jules quickly taken. Jules gets the angle. Jules taken down. One last ball through the sky for Beckles. And there's the full-time whistle. Back in the win column for the first time in the last 5 for Dominica. A fine showing today in the road to 2026 World Cup qualifying. 3-0, the final score today. Dominica takes out the British Virgin Islands.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That is how we kickstart action in the road to 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying here in Concacaf. Odell Laville, his 3rd brace for Dominica. He becomes the 3rd man in Dominica history to hit double digits for goals scored for his country. And a 3-0 victory today for Dominica in this contest. And it's quite the way to start off the day. 5 more matches still to come later on here tonight across these very networks to watch all the action. And we are about 5 minutes away from Barbados and Aruba in Group C, and then Montserrat and Belize in Group D here today, and then 3 more matches coming up in a couple hours. But first, we'll recap things here from Dominica, here in this 12,000-seat stadium. Full-time highlights on the road to 2026 Concacaf qualifiers. It is Dominica and British Virgin Islands coming out, and both sides had some chances early. This was a good defensive challenge to knock that ball away. Here was a delightful touch from Jules. A great shot, but it just hits the post to stay out. This was an opportunity in the 17th minute that skipped over Shawwell and Splat, and we stayed scoreless through the opening 25 minutes of play. Both sides trying to make changes. Shawwell's shot ends up over everything and out. Still scoreless at that point in the game, but how about this pass? It's a long ball from Marshall, and then the touch, flawless as well. Odell Laville, once off the chest, once off the left boot, once off the ground before it hits the side netting to make it 1-0 in the 29th minute. 6 minutes later, after some physicality at the other end of the field, it was Jules getting his breakthrough in the 35th minute. It's a good pass, but Jules, look at how much ground he covers, getting the angle and finishing against Jordanov, who was unable to keep Jules away from it. Jules finishes. It's 2-0 before halftime, and that's where we would sit at the end of 45 minutes of play in this game. Jules, Laville playing their roles at the top of this attack, and at the break, 7 shots for Dominica, 2 goals, and the advantage against the British Virgin Islands. Second half, bit of a feeling out for about 20 minutes or so. Jules would make them out here, get inside of the defense. Here was a foul that was committed. Jules took a free kick. Laville got around the edge. Once again, another good opportunity. This one was from Thomas that forced a save from Beckles. But how about this ball? Odell Laville, it looks like it's a cross for Warrington. It ends up being a shot attempt that is perfectly executed and is the capper here today in the 75th minute. 3rd career brace for Odell Laville. 11 career goals for his country. This was the best chance of the day for British Virgin Islands in the 78th minute. Splat, 6 yards away, heads that over the top.
ladies and gentlemen, substitution for
And the celebration was on for Dominica here today as they did everything well. They get a shutout, they get the 3 goals, they break a 5-match winless run, and they take out British Virgin Islands here in Group E to join the Dominican Republic in a tie for 3rd on the table with 1 more match to go. We take a look at the final stats in this one. A bunch of shots for Dominica. British Virgin Islands didn't translate their shot attempts into shots on target until the second half. And the final score in this one sees Dominica win it 3-0 over British Virgin Islands. British Virgin Islands back in action in 3 days. 3 p.m. they'll take on Jamaica. Dominica travels to the Dominican Republic on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time kick in that one. The final score today, Dominica 3, British Virgin Islands 0. For our entire crew, I'm Michael Watring signing off here from Dominica. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.